Hey guys, I just wanted to ramble about this job I did earlier for one of the worst customers I've had in a while. Definitely one of the craziest. I didn't get paid. Ended up being there for like a little under 3 hours when it was all wrapped up, and she didn't feel like she ripped me off even though I worked by the hour. So here's the story on it. About a month or so, I worked at this lady's property for one day. I did a kind of big hedge trimming job where I cut the hedge way down, but it was like kind of like thick, woodier material, you know, 1/2-inch sticks, stuff like that. It was a decent amount of material. She said she was going to put it in her trash cans. A lot of my customers, you know, will do that. I mean, it ends up being cheaper for them. You know, they put in a little bit of work themselves. I have my reasons for not having a trailer. For one, I don't really have anywhere to store it here, and etc. So I don't do any hauling away. They have a thing up in the hills for these rich people where they'll send guys to chip the branches for them for free, like unlimited amount of branches. I don't know if they have a limitation on how many times a year they can use it, but they do that off and on through the year, and some of my customers have used that, and I'll just pile the branches up and everything. Well, she was dead set on using this thing where they have at a college. You can go there and drop off certain waste stuff if you're a resident of the area. And I remember trying this once before for a customer. It was slow. There was like a line or whatever. It wasn't great. But anyway, she was dead set on doing it this way. Now, I did offer to bring my little chipper shredder, which would have been perfect for this. None of these sticks were very big. I could have shredded most of it and just put the last little chunks in the trash can. And she is, no, it's not going to be good for my soil. She's got this this big property, just like the one I live on. It's woodsy. It's just open dirt. It's the perfect spot. It wasn't even that much. To just chip the stuff, it'll break right down. And she's saying, oh, we have erosion around here, and ended up telling her, you know, my little wood chipper would be actually more efficient than driving down a pickup truckload of branches. But she was, you know, dead set on the chipping thing. So, okay, we tried to do that today. I unloaded my truck, loaded it full of the branches. It was going good. We got down there, and there was no one there. I don't know what happened. They canceled it for today, or I have no idea. If anything, I was more irritated at this point than she was. She was just kind of like, oh, gee, I wonder what happened to him. And I'm going, yeah. So I offered a few more times to bring the chipper. I said, look, I can even go get the little chipper right now. I'll drive home and get it, you know, or next time I come out. And no, she doesn't want this stuff chipped. It's not good for her soil. Total nonsense. So at this point, there's not really much to do with it besides drive these sticks back to her house. It was a total waste of time. I mean, the dump's pretty far away and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't have gotten on the freeway with it like that. And she's actually doesn't really seem all that irritated at this point. She's, you know, oh, gee, I wonder what happened to him. You know, if anything, I'm more disappointed. I'm like, So we took the short drive back to her house. She just says, okay, I guess just, you know, dump the branches in the driveway and, you know, we'll deal with it sometime or whatever. And she asked me to trim this other olive tree. I trimmed the last one when I was there, good size olive trees, kind of tall, you know. And I said, okay, sure, sounds great. And I started getting out my gear, and this is where things got just kind of weird. So I'm gonna trim this olive tree the same way that I trimmed the other olive tree last time, right? I'm gonna use my Milwaukee battery pole saw on the thicker branches that need that. And then everything that I'm shaving down, I'm using the KM 131. The hedge trimmer attachment. I got real sharp blades on there too, and that worked great last time. So I plugged my Milwaukee charger into the outdoor outlet, which was pretty much the only one that I saw around there, the same one that I used last time. And the whole outlet was kind of loose in the wall and everything like that, but it worked fine. So she noticed that and asked me, oh, do you have your own, like your own charging outlet, or I don't know, but I don't really want to use this one. I thought she meant because of the condition the outlet was in. And I said, oh, okay, can you take it inside and charge it? And she says, no, electricity around here is really expensive. And then she just asked me if I can just use the tools I have, even though I need a pole saw to do this, and the only pole saw I have is battery. And she, you know, starts saying gas is better and stuff. And well, I agree with a lot of tools, gas is better, but with pole saws, I like battery. I haven't had any of my customers complain about battery. They always say, oh, your pole saws are amazing. I got the new Milwaukee pole saw, by the way, guys, the big telescoping one. I love it. I want to do some videos on that. You know, the funny thing, too, about the battery pole saw, I just remembered, is the lady saw when I took out the battery pole saw for my truck, and she goes, oh, great, you got an electric pole. So and she knew that I was going to be using, something electric on her property. So she starts telling me stuff like, you should have let me know about this. Oh, I need to know, acting like it was like really unusual or something that I needed to use her electricity to charge a battery. So I haven't had one customer ever complain about this. So apparently I was supposed to let her know in advance that I was going to need to charge a battery there because that was going to be some kind of issue. And it wasn't that she didn't want to just take the battery inside and plug it in. She was literally concerned about me using 2 cents of her electricity. And it was really strange, guys, because last time I worked for her, I think she gave me a kind of a small tip. She at least paid me for the lunchtime I was there that she didn't really need to do. So yeah, it was all really, really weird. So at this point, I'm just thinking there's no reasoning with this lady. And I just said, okay, maybe this isn't really working out too well. Do you want to just pay me for the 2 hours that I've been here, and we'll talk about it for next time? And I didn't have any plans of going back to work for her again, but she said, I'm not paying you. So I just told her, I've been here like 2 hours. I mean, I don't know. It's not my fault that the thing was closed. It wouldn't take the branches. So she didn't really give me much of a reason for not wanting to pay me. I think I might have heard something like, we were going to do the olive tree, even though she was directly blocking me from just getting my battery charged so that I could do the olive tree, because I was more than happy to. And I just realized she definitely wasn't going to pay me, and just looked at her and said, you live in this big house in the hills. I live in poverty. I live in a shack. And that's pretty much true, guys. The place I live in looks like a large tool shed with a bathroom and stuff. California's expensive. Everywhere is expensive these days. I'm happy for what I have. It isn't a nice area, but... And, I reminded her about karma, and she didn't really have a whole lot to say about that. She just kind of followed it up with a bunch of nonsense. At one point, she accused me of trying to steal her plate. She gave me lunch last time, and I think towards the end of the day, she came out and said, oh, do you still have my plate? I'm tired, and I have her plate in here in the truck or whatever. She literally accused me of trying to steal her plate, and she brought that up 3 or 4 times. Most gardeners don't try to steal from me, you try to take my plate. So, I mean, at this point, I kind of know she's not totally all there, even though it was still really upsetting for me and everything. And towards the end of it all, I ended up telling her, look, you obviously have some mental issues. Take your meds. Take your meds. So one thing that she told me was, everyone else hauls away. And I don't really think that that's true. And I'm one of those guys that doesn't haul away. A lot of people still use my service. I don't have a trailer. I'm not going to be taking little tarps and stuff with me. And yeah, the dump around here is expensive too, guys. And let's see, another thing she said to me randomly was, you need a salary. Like I need to change my job, I guess. I mean, that was offensive, because here she is calling me up. I didn't contact her. She found my number, calling me, asking me for help to give her, affordable yard work, which I did a good job of. She was really happy with the work. She was following me around as I'm getting my tools. There was some yelling. I mean, I definitely raised my voice a little bit, but she started just yelling at me like the top of her lungs, almost to the point where I thought, wow, one of the neighbors is probably like almost about to call the cops. This is going to get weird. And she's following me around as I'm getting my wheelbarrow and really saying a lot of stuff to me that didn't make sense too. I'm trying to remember some of the other things. She also said something about, oh, you think I didn't work for what I have. But then she said, you must be assuming I own this house. I don't even own it. I mean, if she lives there, she has a lot more money than I do either way. It might be her elderly mother's she's taking care of and she's about to own it. I don't know. Or she's renting it. Either way, she's got way more money than I have, guys. And she showed me the only car that was there. It was weird because there was no cars at this property besides this one really beat up, just like paint, mostly gone, Honda Accord or something like that. And she starts saying, oh, you just assume I have a lot, huh? You see this? This is my car. Look at it. Your truck looks pretty nice. She's like poking at my truck or whatever. And I think what it comes down to is she probably just didn't drive. I think she's probably just, maybe gets all of her stuff delivered, and she's just kind of one of those older folks that doesn't drive, and the lady was probably around 70 or whatever. And, she was out there, but I felt like she kind of knew what she was doing. She was obviously coherent enough to hire people, make her own decisions and everything. And, why would you do something like that? So, yeah, I'm really glad I don't get these kind of customers very often at all. This rarely happens, which is definitely good because this job is hard enough, as it is. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I hear some stories about guys making a lot of money doing landscaping. As like a solo guy, I don't make very much. There's a ton of competition here. I wish I could charge more. I get a decent amount of work, but I am really, really slow right now. Things are kind of tough right now. That's why another reason why today was pretty frustrating, because I didn't get paid and wasted some of my gas. But, some people are just miserable, and I mean, whatever. That's one of the great things though about doing this, by yourself, running your own thing, is that you can just walk away from these jobs and it's over. I don't even have to think about this or the bad customers I've had. Well, all right, guys, thanks for listening to my story.